Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to the Cleric Corner! My name is Riker, and here we talk about all things Dungeons and Dragons, tapping into our higher powers to create worlds more unique and stories more impactful. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live stream. Some fun things that are happening today, or at least this last week. I'm in the middle of the move. If you were here last week, you would know. But as you might see behind me, things are in boxes. My whole house is in boxes. Just this setup for streaming for this Saturday. This is the only thing that's still intact. So I'll be taking this down today, and I'll be moving this very soon. Basically, these next couple days. So I'm excited, and I'm excited that we were able to still do this because a lot of freaking news happened this week, guys. Like a ton in the D&D community. Okay, so we got the D&D new show, the new movie trailer out. So we got to see that, and maybe if we get to it, we'll look at it today. We got the Journeys to the Radiant Citadel book, which I will have a video about tomorrow. So check that out. There was what we're doing today, which is looking at the wonders of the multiverse, unearthed arcana, and finding some fun and new flavor that we get with that. And then there was Comic-Con. And then there's some other lesser news kind of going around on Twitter and things like that. But that's a lot in 1 week, guys. This is a freaking busy week. And one thing that I'll look forward to in the new place is that I might be better on top of it with still my full-time job that I've now kind of switched into new things with the move. Makes it hard to kind of stay on top of those things. So, but kudos to all those other YouTubers that have been on it and have been giving their input and fleshing these things out as they go. So there we go. Who do we have in the chat? We got Nicolay. Hello. Stay Harris. Signal turn on. Signal. Why did I think of a car signal when you commented that? I don't know. We got Louis Webb and Fry Minis. Hello, Fry Minis by Ataco on Me. Thanks. Did you know that you are my first super chat? Did you know that? Fry Minis just gave me my first super chat. I had some super chats in a what was it? It was a fundraiser event that I did when I first got monetized, but none of that was for me. So Fry Minis, it had to be you. It had to be you. we have so many great people in the chat, so thank you for being here. A quick shout out before we get started, as I know. There is a lot that I'm going to go in today. So make sure that if you have questions, to type in all caps question and then your question in the chat, so that I can pick it out of the chat real easy, and we can get to the things that are most important to you guys, because again, there is a lot of things. So first, shout out to my Patreon members. We have our Cleric being Scott Burns, and Acolytes, Kaleidoscope, and Weaver Atropos. Thank you so much for being the amazing supporters that you are, and we look forward so much to some new things, a complete overhaul to Patreon next month, which I'm super excited about, which is also just on top of everything else, just making me so busy this month, but hopefully it'll come out all right on the very end and help and give you guys the content that you very well deserve. Because another big thing that happened this week is my channel reached 10K subscribers, which was incredible. Holy crap, guys. I remember a year ago, so in August of 2021, I made this channel. I'm it would be awesome to get 10K by the end of 2022. And here we are a month before my 1 year anniversary, and we've already hit that. So that's just incredible, and I can't thank you guys enough, so I had to thank you again here. Thank you guys so much. Guys, Fry Minis. Let's better celebrate then. We can all celebrate the beauty of Banderhop's Chomp. Another $20 super chat by Fry Minis. Fry Minis, you're making me emotional now. Goodness, thank you so much. Guys, Banderhobbs, for those of you who don't know, Banderhobbs is the monster of choice for Fry Minis' channel. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. But it is a creature, no, not Underdark. It's a Shadowfell creature, isn't it? It's a Shadowfell creature of a Banderhobb that swallows you whole and is a giant monstrosity frog. So it's good to keep in mind for all of your player killing needs. Louis Webb, congrats on the 10K. Thank you so much. Scorpio, congrats. Thank you. Nicolay, do you work out? I've never seen my name spelt like that. I think that's one for the record books. If you are talking about me, I don't see another Ricard in the chat. It's spelled Ryker, but I don't care. I do work out, just not this last month. It's so busy. I don't. What happened to your eyes? Do you guys notice? Do you notice? I'm so tired. Do you notice the shadows of my eyes? Is that? Do you guys? I need a crappier camera if you can see that. Goodness gracious. What? Reverie calling me out. Yeah. I've been. It's been a couple days. I'll tell you what. Jeez. Okay. Enough on that. Let's get started, guys, shall we? Let's get started. Okay. So, looking at the wonders of the universe, wonders of the multiverse. This is going to be like, in my opinion, in a lot of other YouTubers' opinion, in a lot of other people's opinion, this is our Planescape. So if you're unfamiliar, in previous editions, we had Spelljammer, which is like the exploration of the skies or space, right? The astral sea, wild space, planets, things like that. The multiverse in Planescape is when we get to explore the Abyss, the Nine Hells, Mount Celestia, the Beastlands, Mechanus, like all of the outer planes of the afterlives. Like we get to explore those or flush those out. So we're hoping that this is going to be fleshed out real good, because 5e or 5th edition is so not fleshed out when it comes to the planes that this is going to be incredible for me. I love implementing plane stuff. I did a one shot a couple weeks ago for my friends here in Vegas, and it was a one shot with the what was it called? It's called the Sigil, or the City of Judgment, and it is the single point where all spirits go before they're judged and put into other planes. And so it was awesome because they got to explore why these spirits are not coming to this City of Judgment anymore, and they got to like plane skip and plane hop in like a investigatory kind of one shot. It was really fun. But having something fleshed out like this, like a planescape, to help with that, I'm excited. Sorry, I'm just concerned. Reverie, that is totally completely fine. Thank you for being concerned. I appreciate it. I'm not self-conscious, right? I don't have an ego. So I honestly have some like eye bag stuff. Don't ask me how I got it, but I have some eye bag stuff that maybe I'll just put on after this just to make it a little bit better. But it's funny that it's noticeable. Okay. So here we have in the Wonders of the Multiverse. Here we have in the PDF, we have the Glitchling, which is a new race. We got a new Cleric subclass. We got a whole bunch of backgrounds, whole bunch of feats, and a whole bunch of spells. So this also will go over giant stuff. So we're also, across our fingers, getting a whole giant supplement, kind of like what we got with Fizzbands, is my hopes. And so we're going to read some stuff for that. If we want to skip to anything, let me know. Again, super chats will be going straight to what you want to see. So, anyways, we'll continue. Who looked like I was not Reverie? I wasn't crying, but thank you. I wasn't crying. Thankfully, I wasn't crying. Prime Minis almost made me cry, but we made it past that. We're good. Okay, Glitchling traits. This is our race, guys. And if you know about Modrons, oh, should I pull up a picture actually? Maybe I'll pull up a picture. Hold on. It doesn't say exactly this is what it is. Is there not Modron in here? Okay, this is what they look like. So they come in different geometric shapes, and there's a certain hierarchy with Modrons. The more sides of the shape, the higher in the hierarchy they are, essentially. So a triangle or a pyramid shape is lowest on the totem pole, essentially, and then you got the cube, and then you have like a pentagon, and anyways. It continues up and up. Let's see if we can find another one. Pentatron. Oh, there's a monodrone, which is a circle. They're the lowest one. Sorry. And then a pentadrone. Yeah, so they're just a bunch of different shapes, and the more sides that you have, the higher you are. So I think that's kind of what they're getting along with the Glitchling traits, or what we're getting with the Glitchling, because again, in previous Planescapes, it revolved around the Modron March, which is the march of all of these Modrons who are essentially robots of law, in layman's terms. And they circle around all of the planes, the lower planes, the higher planes, all the planes. They do a giant march through all of them back to Mechanus, where they're from. And that's the kind of what Planescape has been about in the past. So it makes sense that they would put a Modron race in there. Maybe you're a part of the Modron march. Maybe you got dispelled, or you got left behind, or something like that. And maybe you need some adventures to help get you back. Would be kind of fun. Okay, anyways, you are a construct. We've seen this before with, like, autonomes. Size, you are a medium. There's been a lot of people who say, like, oh, this might just be the autonome. I don't think it is. I think that we're getting the autonome in Spelljammer, and then we're also getting this one with Planescape. There's been a lot of constructs. We need other things. We have an ooze. We have some constructs. I think it would be nice to have, like, a monstrosity or a... Oh, let's see what we have. Actually, let's look. Let's look at what we have. 5 minis. I've got to bounce, but I'll keep playing for the algo. Thanks. Thank you. Algorithm. It's always a help. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming. Honestly, I appreciate you being here. Okay, so yeah, so aberrations. It'd be awesome to have like an aberration type character, or to play a celestial. I think at Aasimars, I think the character Aasimar should be a celestial. I think that would be nice. We have a bunch of constructs. A dragon. If Dragonborns were a dragon, I think that would be pretty cool. I wonder if they're going to do that. You know, because with the 2024 big change up, or not redo. How would you say it? It's not a completely new edition. It's just like a revamp, as far as what they're saying, right? So what I could see happening, which would be kind of cool, is making a bunch of the old races into different creature types. So the Dragonborn would be a dragon, the Aasimar would be a celestial. I don't think they're actually going to do that, because they just reprinted it in the Monsters of the Multiverse, but here we are. We have a couple phase with the Satyr. A plant would be kind of fun. We have one undead lineage. And then a giant would be cool, and a fiend would be cool. Tieflings could be fiends, right? I think that would be so cool. And in fact, maybe I'll just do that in my games. Give my players that option. Hey, do you want to be this other creature? And maybe have spells work a little differently. Because that's the big old hang-up, right? Is that spells don't affect constructs like they do humanoids. So like Hold Person doesn't work on constructs because they need a humanoid target, and constructs aren't humanoid. So pretty cool. Anyways, I'm doing this very slow. I'm not going to get anything. I'm sorry, guys. So again, let me know to skip ahead. So your metal skin is reinforced with armor plates. While you aren't wearing armor, your base armor class is 14 plus your dex, which is kind of like one more. Usually it's 13 plus dex. It's like one more than regular, which is strong. And then we have Balanced Chaos. When you make an attack roll or saving throw with a 9 or lower on the d20, you can balance Chaos and treat the roll as a 10. You can balance Chaos in this way a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Pretty nice. I think that this is hecka strong, because this is essentially, if you look at the Rogue, and you go to level 11 with Reliable Talent, it's in a level 11 feature for the Rogue. When you make an ability check that lets you add your proficiency bonus, you can treat a die roll of 9 or lower as a 10. So you're getting a Rogue's Reliable Talent, a proficiency bonus times for a Balanced Chaos racial trait, which is nice. I'll tell you what. And that's kind of the law that they were going on about, which is great. We have Living Construct. You are created to benefit from several spells that preserve life, but that normally don't affect constructs. So this is what I'm talking about. The spells that would normally not affect them. At least they're like, hey, you need to heal because of the balance of the game. So you've been made specifically to be able to absorb these, right? They put in an update or a converter, and the converter just translate these healing spells into like a mending something, which would be kind of fun. You also have Ordered Mind. You have advantage on Wisdom, Insight checks, and of saving throws made to avoid or end the charm condition itself, which is pretty great. And then Vestigial Wings. So I don't know if you guys saw the Modron here. They each have kind of vestigial wings. Yeah, see these little bits here on the sides. So not big wings, but enough where it gives you a fly speed equal to your walking speed, but then you fall at the end. It's basically just a large jump. It's like a chicken. You're a chicken. If you want a great chicken race, like a chicken race, if you want to be a chicken race, this would be great. This one. Be a rogue glitchling. Just reflavor it as a chicken, and it's perfect. It's perfect. It's great. I don't know if you've ever owned chickens, but it's the same. Like they have vestigial wings, right? They don't really work. They can't fly, but they do allow them to jump, kind of, pretty far. C. Harris says the UA approach to construct races fuels my current work in progress, because the handling of half creature types is so bad. Yeah, I want to see what they kind of do with it before I make like a lot of judgment on them. I think that getting 3 different construct races before anything else is a little weird. I will say that. Yeah, Nicolay, it does make sense in lore that dragons aren't part of like the dragon race. I just think it's cool, right? I just think it's cool. And for your games, the lore could be totally different, right? So just having that option, I think it'd be nice. Let's see. Here we go. Cleric subclass. We're gonna go on. I just saw Steve Harris. A healer's a druid with Goodberry and Healing Spirit. Is that? You talking about the Glitchling? I don't know. All right, Cleric subclass, Fate Domain. As you know, I love clerics. I am always down for another Cleric subclass. Let's see how it goes. So the gods of fate. Oh, excuse me. That's something weird in there. All right, gods of fate perceive the future and how the choices mortals make drive them towards their destinies. Some deities consider the future preordained, while others understand the multiverse as a place of infinite possibility. Clerics who draw power from the forces of fate sometimes receive visions directly from their deity and receive fleeting omens of the future. They share impossible knowledge with their allies and prophesize their enemies' doom. So pretty cool. We have basically a divination wizard, but in clerical form. So a very like fate-inspired seer. You gain domain spells here. We have Dissonant Whispers, Heroism, See Invisibility, Warding Bond, Beacon of Hope, Surveillance, Death Ward, Divination, Commune, and Gish. Or Gish? I don't know. Dissonant Whispers is a weird one for me. But if you look at the flavor connotation of Dissonant Whispers is weird, but the denotation of the mechanics, they do make sense, because I believe it just gives them disadvantage. So you're kind of like most divination or fate inspired subclasses, they just deal a lot with the dice, right? Dice manipulation is kind of their shtick, a lot like the lucky feat, right? So here we have a lot of things that help with that. See Invisibility is also weird. I actually don't get that. Gish is also weird because that's like an enchantment. So, I don't know. I've seen this mentioned on other live streams that these spells specifically are ones that are like in the player's handbook. And so they try to do this thing where they don't pick other spells in other books because they don't know what books that you have. And so they do it just in the player's handbook, so they minimize the amount of books that you get in order to play certain things. So it's supposed to be like ease, right? So if you wanted to play the Fate Domain, all you'd have to do is get the player's handbook and then, or the DM's guide, whatever has these spells in it, and this one, whatever this one is. And that's it. So it's easy that way, but I think we do miss out on some really flavorful spells if we do it that way, but it's what they do. It's what they do. And we'll enjoy it either way, right? And you can always change it. Okay, here we have Omens Importance, level 1. You can perceive signs of the future in everyday objects and events such as flight of birds or ripple made in water by the Thrown Stone. You can cast Augury without expending a spell slot, and you can cast a spell this way. You don't have to use verbal, somatic, or material components, and then you can't cast it again this way until you finish a long rest. In addition, until you finish a long rest, when you cast a divination spell that includes a chance, the DM gives you no answer on a reading. No answer on a random reading, such as Augury, Commune, or Divination. Reduce that chance by 25%. So, what it's talking about here is some of these spells, they have a contingency for the DM, because, you know, if you cast Commune, you get to ask your deity questions. 3 questions. And the DM answers you yes or no on those questions, and it is 100% truthful because you're casting Commune. However, each time you cast it after that, there's a 25% chance the DM will roll a percentile dice behind the screen. There's a 25% chance that the reading will not be correct. So you can ask, and they'll say like no, and it could have been a yes, but because they rolled 25% on the dice, they give you a wrong reading. So anyways, but what this is saying is that if you can basically cast it more than once per day and have to not worry about it. Or that when you do want to pass or want to do it more, you have less of a chance of getting a wrong reading. So it's kind of nice, right? It makes them better at those spells. And then we have Ties That Bind. You can temporarily tie your fate to others. As an action, you can touch one object or a creature and magically tie a strand of fate from yourself to it for 1 hour or until you use this feature again. An unwilling creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC to resist this effect. While the target is bound to you on the same plane of existence as you, you can sense the direction of the target's location, and you know the direction of its movement if it's in motion, which is kind of nice. In addition, once per turn, when you cast a spell using a spell slot to deal damage or restore hit points to the target, roll a d6, and the target receives extra damage or healing, respectively, to the number rolled. So I like this just because it's different, right? It's still dice manipulation, but it's almost it's not in a way that changes the roll. It's in the way that changes the result. All right, you're still rolling to hit the creature just normally, but when you do hit it, it's more effective in either the healing or in death, right? So you're either speeding up fate or you're keeping it at bay, which is kind of fun. Plus, you always know where they are. It's not really like fate inspired, but it's definitely divination, right? Knowing where they are at any given moment. And honestly, I could see me being a ranger and just taking a 1 level dip. You should get this at 1 level. Like, this is some good stuff at 1 level. You get a bunch of really, really good spells, and then you get this feature. So if I was a ranger, yeah, they have like Hunter's Mark and stuff, but you can get rid of Hunter's Mark with a Dispel Magic. It doesn't look like you can. Yeah, so this is permanent. So I would totally get this level dip as a ranger to try to figure out, like, to hunt my prey, and, you know, really good. You can use this feature a number of proficiency bonus per long rest. All right, here's our Channel Divinity, guys. Here's our Channel Divinity. Hey, Yamil, hello, where are we at? We are just in the middle of looking at the Cleric Fate domain. The new one coming out in the recent Unearthed Arcana. This is pretty cool. So, with the Strands of Fate, with our Channel Divinity feature, we get to see and manipulate Strands of Fate and weave around other individuals. As a bonus action, you can enter the state for up to 1 minute or until you lose concentration. For the duration, whenever another creature you can see makes an attack roll or an ability check, you can use a reaction to give the roll advantage or disadvantage, which is basically like a continuous silvery barbs. So I think a lot of people will say that this is kind of strong, at least from what I see from other people's reviews. But also seeing or comparing it to the Twilight Domain Cleric, I think it's okay. In comparison, I think it's okay. Because it does take concentration, and there's a lot of concentration spells on a Cleric. I should know. Not as much as a Druid, but still a lot. And so if you're using this, there's not much concentration spells that you're doing otherwise. So in my opinion, I think that it actually could be stronger. But it does take concentration, and you can manipulate, rolls in disadvantage or advantage. So, and it's a reaction, right? Yeah, you can use a reaction. So you're giving one advantage or disadvantage basically once every round. You're getting rid of your reaction and its concentration. So there's a lot that you have to pay for this, for an advantage or disadvantage. So it just depends on if that's worth it. I think it could be stronger, but I do think that it's a nice channel divinity. I do think it's nice, for when you do want to use it. All right, insightful striking. Fate Domain feature, level 6. As a bonus action, you can use one creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. Your magic grants a brief vision of the target's defenses until the end of your next turn. You gain one of the following effects of your choice. The next time you make an attack roll against the target, roll a d6 and add the number total to your roll. The next time the target must make a saving throw against the spell you cast, the target must roll a d6 and subtract the number rolled from the saving throw. You can use this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses after you finish a long rest. So, it's kind of cool because you can kind of stack this, or at least I think you can. You can kind of stack, once per turn when you cast a spell using this spell slot, you can restore or extra damage. So you do a d6 here, and then you do another d6 here. So basically you're getting an extra 2d6 damage every round. Or not every round. Basically, I mean, as a bonus action. But as a... Wait a second. As a bonus action, you can choose one creature you can see within 30 feet. Your magic grants a brief... Until the end of your next turn, you gain one of the following effects of your choice. That's interesting. So you're basically using a bonus action to do an extra d6. But if you have a bonus action cantrip, or if you multi-classed, I don't think you're ever going to use this. Because you can, if you're just dual wielding, you'd probably do a lot more on your bonus action anyways. And there's a setup. Like, you have to cast this first, and then on your next turn... Wait. No, until the end of your next turn. Okay. No. So this is 2 turns. So this is actually good. This is good. So it's 2 turns. So if you use the bonus action at the beginning of your turn, then you use the extra d6 for your attack rolls for this turn, and then what's next turn. So this is actually really good. So you can stack it from there and there, and then you get an extra 2d6 on your attacks, which is awesome. Also, still a very good reason to multi-class with your ranger and their hunter's mark, so you can just get a bunch of dice. I had one of my players, or one of my friends, did a Cleric Ranger multi-class in a recent one-shot, and it was actually pretty dope. It was pretty nice. It was a War Cleric and a Ranger, and I'm like, it was actually just doing a lot of damage. It was pretty impressive. So, yeah. So Stern says Strands of Fate is not that flavorful. Bless probably gives you more for your concentration, so I think it's fine balance-wise. Yeah, you'd be correct. Yeah. This one, it's basically... I think mathematically it comes out to be relatively the same. Except, I should say with like a D4 and this. This actually, to me, looks a little bit weaker than Bless, because it's a one advantage or disadvantage where Bless targets 3 people. And you're basically giving them advantage or disadvantage on everything. Or advantage on everything. So Bane or Bless. Jeez. Which to me actually might make better spells than these ones, but who knows. Alright, going on. Potent spellcasting. We all know this one. Just gives you extra damage equal to your wisdom modifier. All clerics kind of get that. And then Visions of the Future. Your knowledge of the future allows you to guide an individual to achieve your greatest possible success. You can cast the Foresight spell, awesome, once without expending a spell slot. When you cast a spell in this way, the spell's duration is 1 minute for that casting. Once you cast a spell in this way, you can't do so until you finish the long rest. So, I'm going to tell you what they're meant to do here and what it actually says. So what they meant to do here, I'm sure, at least I hope they meant to do this, is that you can cast Foresight with an action and then get a 1 minute Foresight ability. Here, they did not specify that you get to cast it as an action, so you have to start the casting for a full minute It's a full minute startup cast, and then you get 1 minute after that. So there's no way that rules as written, you're preparing for a fight this way, unless you know exactly when the fight is, because you have to. It's a 1 minute casting time, and then you have a free 1 minute effect. Normally, it's a 1 minute casting time, and you get 8 hours of this effect. So I think what they meant to do is an action, and if they did, that's really, I like that. I like that. Do I think that a level 17 domain feature could be a little stronger? Yes. I honestly, it's their capstone. I think you should just give them the Foresight spell, right? Just one casting Foresight spell. You're level 17. You should always, to me, it's almost like you should always have it on, right? You are the epitome of a seer. You're epitome of a celestial divination. So of course you're always gonna like be one step ahead. So I think you should just cast it once without a spell slot, and that's it, right? I think that would be great. Even if you did it once, like you can cast it once, and then you can cast it normally with your spell slots, but you can't cast it this way in like 1d4 days, and you roll like a dice, and you can't do it for 1d4 days. You know, because your brain got overpowered or something like that. I don't know. But I think there's a lot of ways that you can do that. Overall, I really like this. I don't think it's my favorite domain, but I think it's fun. I think it's good. I think it's cool. I definitely could find some really fun ways to kind of flavor it and fun ways to kind of put into a character, right? Like, yeah. I'll ask you guys. Maybe we'll come back to this. Like, what kind of flavor do you guys see in this? What kind of flavor do you see? I already told you. I think that this would make a great ranger. I think it'd be a great ranger. Give me this cleric. I'll multi-class, but just making the powers just rangery, right? Where I'm casting Augury and Commune, but it's more like nature based, right? Where I'm tracking, where I'm noticing dirt on people's clothing from specific places. I'm tactically advantageous, and I can tell when people are doing one thing rather than another. I think it'd be a really fun just ranger. Yeah, I think it would be really fun. Yeah, very hard to pull off with the 1 minute to 1 minute thing. It's just weird. Okay, we have a bonus action, bonus action. We have bonus feats. We have bonus feats. We have a ton of feats. We get, basically what they've been doing now is where they're allowing backgrounds, or when you pick a background, you get a certain amount of feats. So this is just kind of telling you what feats you could get if these backgrounds don't have another feat tied to it. These are some other options that you can use. Here we have, let's see how much time we have. I think we got time. We can kind of slowly go through these. So the Gate Warden, you are basically standing at a planar gate, right? A planescape gate. You are in charge of this gate from one plane to another. You are set in charge of this planar portal, and you are the warden here. You get Persuasion, Survival, languages 2 of your choice, and then a Ring of Unknown Locks, a blank book, a pen or quill, some some other stuff, and then you get this feature, Planar Infusion. Living someplace steeped in the energy of the planes, you gain the Scion of the Outer Planes feat, presented later, and in addition, you know where to find free modest lodging in a food and community where you grew up in. Ooh, should I go to the feats now? We'll get to the feats in a second. You also get some trinkets, which are kind of fun. Giant Foundling. This is they're intermixed with the Planescape and the Giant stuff. Again, I think that they're making 2 different books. It's kind of like our next 2 after Spelljammer and Dragonlance. So this one, though you aren't a giant, you grew up among them, right? You're basically the Mowgli in the woods raised by wolves, but this time giants. You get Intimidation, Survival. You get 2 of your choice languages, and then you get some equipment. But your origins is that you have, not origins. What am I looking at? Here's your feature. I'm not gonna read through all the origin stuff. It's available. You can look at it yourself. I'll include a link below in the description. But Strike of the Giants, you get the Strike of the Giants feat presented later. So you can see, like, they're giving all of these backgrounds feats now as features. They're giving feats. So feats is, I mean, you can always get feats normally, but now you get it as your background. So at level 1, you start out with a feat, which is pretty nice. I think that's great. I have no problem with that. There's been a lot of like hashing on of new content from Wizards of the Coast. So here's a couple things about that. A lot of people look at these things and kind of tear it to pieces and say like this, you know, what is WotC doing, or Wizards of the Coast, the owners of D&D? What are they doing? What's going on? You know, these things are broken. It's not as, you know, they're breaking the game. I don't care. Is that bad? Not that I don't care about them breaking the game, but to me, I'd rather just enjoy things, right? And that's one thing. But two, I honestly think that these Unearthed Arcanas is less about getting community feedback and more about marketing, stirring up hype. Because hey, like, even though it doesn't say Planescape, it's Planescape, and people are going to talk about that. People are going to generate hype about Planescape just because this thing came out, and it's a huge marketing thing. So even if they aren't looking for specific feedback, this is giving them a lot of hype for future content, which is a great business move anyways, right? So I don't take this stuff super seriously, but it's fun to see what's coming up. It's fun to flavor because we will see this in some form in the future, which is pretty great. So here's another feature for the Philosopher. We get again wow, Scion of the Outer feats. Guys, I'm tired. Scion of the Outer Planes feat, which we'll get to in a second. Okay. Then we have Rune Carver, which is kind of cool. This, I think, was a revisit to the Rune Carver subclass for the Wizard that we saw a little bit ago, but they changed it to a feat. Due to a lot of feedback on probably what, you know, they decided to do the same thing that they did with Strixhaven, where they changed all of the subclasses to feats instead. So this is what they're doing here. History, Perception, Giant, or one other language. They're sticking to the Giant theme of the runes, like the Rune Warrior Fighter. And then we get Rune Styles, and then Rune Carver Apprentice, we get the Rune Carver feat. Okay, here are the feats. So we'll dive into it. Well, feats, let's go to the ones that were described in the backgrounds first. And then we can go back up. So here we have the Rune Carver Adept. So you get this, oh no, not that one. Rune Carver Apprentice, this is one you get. So basically you learn the Comprehend Language spell, which is really fun, really flavorful. You get to understand runes in different languages. You can cast a spell once without a spell slot, and then again if you cast it with spell slots, you know 2 runes of your choice from the table below. So you get to choose 2 of the runes below to know their spells. And then you basically prepare one of them every day. When you finish a long rest, you can mark one non-magical weapon, armor, piece of clothing, or other object you know and put the rune on it. And then you temporarily know that first level spell based on the rune you had inscribed as specified, and you know it until you finish a long rest, and then the rune fades. So every day you're picking one of those 2. So I think potentially if you really wanted to, you could take this feat multiple times, and then you get to choose more runes that you can kind of prepare once each day. But for this one, you pick 2, you do 1 each day. And then you get Rune Carver Adept after that. So it's a prerequisite. You have to get Rune Carver Apprentice before you get Rune Carver Adept. This one you have the ability to drop more power from your runes. Increase your ability score by 1. And then whenever you cast a spell from the runes table or spell school of magic associated with the spell, marked on the object from the Rune Carver Apprentice feat. That's pretty nice. So not only the spell that you cast, but anything on the same school of magic. You gain these granting you one of these benefits of your choice. Battle Rune. Choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself until the end of the creature's next turn. It has advantage to the next attack roll it makes. Healing Rune. That creature takes temporary hit points equal to your level. Or Runic Winds. Until the end of the creature's turn, its movement does not provoke opportunity attacks, and its walking speed increases by 10 feet. Which is pretty nice. And then you can invoke the runic power a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest. Which is pretty cool. Wait, but no more than once per spell you cast? Oh, you're right. Yeah, just one of these per spell that you're casting. So this is cool. There's another thing that we'll see. So feat trees. They won't be as complicated as previous landscapes. Give me a second while my brain is rebooting, guys. It won't be it won't be the same as previous editions. Goodness. Previous editions, as their feat trees were pretty long. There was a lot. It was literally a feat tree where you get this one, you can get this one, and then you can get these two, and then you can those four, and then they're trying to stay between like 1 to 2. 1 to 2 rune trees. You keep it simple, but still linear, so that it gives you the opportunity to get some things a little bit stronger that normally you wouldn't be able to. So that's pretty nice. And so you get this as a 4th level after you get the Rune Carver feat. And then, let's see, where are the other ones? Soul, Science, Strike of the Giants. Here's the one for the Giants. If you grow up with the Giants, you've absorbed primeval magic, and that gives you an echo of the might of giants. Choose one of the kind of giants listed below as a bonus action. You can call on the power of your giant magic to imbue your attacks with the additional power. And the next time you hit with an attack or the target attack, next time you hit a target with a melee or thrown weapon attack within the next minute, the attack has an additional effect depending on the origin of your giant magic. 1. Hill Giant. Target takes an additional 1d6 damage of the weapon's type, which is super nice. And then it must succeed a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. Stone Giant. So you only get to choose one of these when you take the feat. You only get to choose one. The Stone Giant target takes an extra 1d6 force damage and is pushed 10 feet away. Frost Giant is 1d6 cold damage, and the speed is reduced to 0. Fire Giant takes in a 1d8 type fire damage, so just a little bit stronger fire damage. Cloud Giant, 1d4 thunder damage, and is a wisdom saving throw, or you become invisible to it until the start of your next turn. Which is actually pretty cool, because like I don't think we've seen that before, where you're only invisible to one target, like to one person. You're visible to anyone else, but just that one person, you're invisible to it. Kind of cool. I think it's one way to kind of make invisibility a little bit weaker for like little weaker abilities to kind of like balance stuff, which is a nice take. And then Storm Giant, 1d6 lightning damage, and then Constitution saving throw or a disadvantage on the next attack roll until the start of your next turn. Pretty fun. And then once you do that, what you'll get is a bunch of different giant spells or giant feats that are the feat tree of that. So depending on what you choose here, there is another feat tied to it. So if you chose Heal Giant, you get to choose the 4th level Vigor of the Hill Giant feat at later levels as a prerequisite. So you get an ability score increase, and then you get Bulwark, where when people try to move you 5 feet or you're knocked prone, you can use your reaction to steady yourself, which is actually really, really cool. Which I'm trying to think what that might. I wonder. It would be nice to steady yourself until the end of your turn, because like I can see like a warlock with the invocation where they can move you with your Eldritch Blast. That's 3 times they can move you. 3 separate instances of them moving you, and you can only use your reaction for one of them. I think it would be nice if you could use your reaction to steady yourself until the end of your turn. Otherwise, I don't see myself taking this feat. But you also get Iron Stomach, where whenever you eat food as part of your long rest and spend 1 more hit dice to regain hit points, you gain additional hit points equal to your Constitution modifier plus your proficiency bonus, which is actually really nice. So maybe I will just for that. And so this actually is a pretty nice one. I wouldn't say it's the strongest, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Reverie, do I need coffee? I need something, Reverie. I need something. I need caffeine. I do. I have caffeine in my fridge. I'll get some after this. I still got a day of packing left. But it's pretty great. It's Nikolay says it's funny how the actual giants don't get these abilities. Somebody said it. It's the weird dichotomy between like what the players get and what the giants get. I think that here's the thing is like 5th edition has to be simple though. It has to be simple. And so when they do the giant stat blocks, they only do so much. Because you don't want a 3-page stat block for a giant. It's too complicated, you know, that people that'll scare away new DMs. And so I really, people get in their mind, and it's a big reason of why I've made this channel, is a lot of people get in their mind that Wizards of the Coast made Dungeons and Dragons as is. And it's supposed to be as is. I don't think that's true. I think Wizards of the Coast made D&D for us to change, to add, and to complicate ourselves. They laid the base foundation that makes it easy to access, and for new DMs to feel comfortable starting a game. But for DMs, for us, who want to make it more complicated, who are comfortable with the game, and wish to add the things that we know and love and attribute to these characters, we can do that. And so when we see things like the Vigor of the Hill Giant, this feat, and think, oh, regular giants don't have this. Well, they do if you give it to them. And you can, right? And there's always a question of like, oh, can you do it easily? And, you know, no, but you're asking for a complication here. But you can do that. And you can give them those things. And there are so many times where I've taken monsters and given them a lot of things. That would just make sense, right? Even in battle, and I hope you as DMs are given permission to do this. In battle, in a fight, where the characters are fighting this thing, homebrew is homebrew. If you're changing something, it doesn't matter if you do it before the battle, before the game, or during the game. You're still changing something about the outcome, depending on information that you receive or know about balance. So if I'm playing the game and I'm thinking like they're fighting this creature in this way, it would make sense that this creature would be able to do this thing, right? Like it makes sense that a hill giant, being giant, if somebody tries to move them, right, or even tries to keep them from moving, like What's the feat that gives them the Polearm Master, right? Polearm Master? The feat that allows them to stop creatures in their tracks no matter what their size, right? I would say the Vigor of the Hill Giant gets a saving throw for that. Or it doesn't affect them at all, press past a certain size. Because especially the Hill Giant that gets something like this, it would make sense. So even in the fight, if somebody tries to use Polearm Master, or whatever the feat is, and tries to stop my hill giant, I'd be like, roll a strength check. Roll a strength check. And it'll be kind of like athletics versus athletics, and maybe if they lose, they'll get knocked prone. But some things like this, it's you can add these things to your game because they make sense. And if you have that conversation with your player, that you're like, a lot of these monsters are not going to be rules as written. They're going to be homebrew. They're going to make sense though. And to me, as a player for that kind of DM, I would expect something like that. I would expect that if I try to block a freaking giant that's 3 times my size with my polearm, that I might have a hard time doing so. It makes sense, right? And so, anyways, that is a freaking rant. But I hope that again, your DMs and players feel inspired and allowed to make the game more than it is, because it's simple on purpose, and we are meant to complicate it as we see fit. Make sense? Cool. If you don't agree with that and you have your own way of thinking about it, please share it. Please share it. I'm more than happy to hear it and change my mind in the future if new knowledge comes to mind. But that's how I currently see it, and that's how I currently play. Okay, sorry. Going on. How much time you have? Ooh, okay. We're gonna whip through these. Okay. Go back to so we have a Cartomancer, which is pretty cool. It's a card focused feat that gives you a bunch of card tricks. Essentially, you get a card focus for your spells. You get prestidigitation, and then when you finish the long rest, you can choose one spell to imbue it into the card. Chosen spell must have a casting time of 1 action, so it's kind of like a Ring of Spell Storing, but it's in a card, which is kind of nice. Cohort of Chaos. Oh, okay, we got to look at the Sign of Outer Planes first. Sign of Outer Planes. Where'd it go? Did I miss it? Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Sign of the Outer Planes is another feat that is important. You are influenced by and adept at navigating planar pathways and strange realities in outer planes. When planar essences infuse you, or you have extraplanar ancestry, your connection to a plane infuses you with energies you found there. So choose a type of plane on the planar infusion list below. Your choice gives you resistance to a damage type and the ability to cast a cantrip. You can cast this cantrip without material components, and your spellcasting ability is your choice. So you get, so depending on where you're from, or where you get your power, or the plane that you're magically influenced from, you get a damage resistance and a cantrip. So it's pretty cool, right? Whether you lived here, or you are in a planar explosion, or something really fun, you get connection to these planes, which I think is kind of fun and awesome. So you get outer planes, you have the outlands, you have astral plane, chaotic outer plane, evil outer plane, good outer plane. So it kind of gives you a choice, right? So you get all these, but then kind of the same thing that they did with the giant is that you get that once you choose one of these, you get to have a connected 4th level feat that you use this as a prerequisite. So let's see, we have where'd he go? Okay, yeah. So Righteous Heriter is if you choose the good outer plane, you get to soothe pain. You can use a reaction to dull suffering and reduce damage by 1d10 plus your proficiency bonus, which is really, really cool. It's a reaction to somebody taking damage. So I think that's really awesome. And then you have Planar Wanderer, which is it's actually an agnostic 4th level sign of the plane's feat, so you can get this whatever choice you use. But you get to draw on this power. You get planar adaptation, so you get resistance to one of these damages. You get Portal Cracker. Okay, this is cool, and I cannot wait to see how they implement this. This will be a sneak peek on how they're going to work with planes in the future and in Planescape. So your experience with Portal allows you to operate them without the proper portal key, which means that there will be portal keys for planes, or planar portals, which are cool. As an action, you can concentrate on a portal you are aware of that is within 5 feet of you and make a DC 20 Wisdom survival check. On a failure, you take 3d8 force damage, and you can't use this feature on that portal again until you finish a long rest. On a success, you can force the portal open or closed for 1 hour. For that duration, a portal closed in this way does not respond to its portal key unless a creature employing the key succeeds in the intelligence check as an action. So, pretty cool. And I also just picture like a really fun Horizon Walker Ranger being able to do this. But you get to like either open a portal or keep it open without the portal key, or if somebody's following you and the portal is left open, you can close it without a key for an hour and keep them from following you. Also really, really cool, right? I can just see like chase scenes across planar portals, across planes, and I cannot freaking wait. Oh, it's gonna be so cool. Oh, it's gonna be so cool. And then you get Portal Sense. You know the direction of the last planar portal you use while you and the portal are in the same plane. Moreover, because this is basically what a Horizon Walker gets, but moreover, as an action, you can detect the location of any portals within 30 feet of you that aren't behind total cover. Once you detect a portal in this action, you can't use this action again until you finish a long rest. So, there you go. Let's see what else we have. Outlines and the Envoy. Oh, is this another one? Yeah. This is what I mentioned at the beginning, guys. This is what I mentioned at the beginning. Sigil. I was correct. So this is the City of Judgment. You have spent significant time in the Sigil or elsewhere in the Outlands, crossroads of the Multiverse. There it is, crossroads of the Multiverse. Being steeped in the converging planar energies grants you these benefits. Increase an ability score of your choice by 1. And then you get Crossroad Emissary, where you learn the Misty Step and Tongue spell. You can cast each spell once during this using this feat without expending a spell slot. When you cast Tongue through this feat, you require no material components. And then you can cast it as well with spell slot at the appropriate level. So the spellcasting ability is the one you chose with the Sign of the Outer Planes feat. So this Outlands Envoy, I want to make a Sigil character so bad. I think the Sigil is so cool. If you've seen pictures of it, it's beautiful. It's it's kind of funny though. It's like a gigantic donut city revolving around a giant black spire. They might change it for this next edition, the aesthetics a little bit, but there's pictures of it with a giant donut city around a giant black spire. Which is kind of fun. So, let's see, what do we have next? Actually, we have a few minutes left. Let's just briefly look at the spells. Again, you can look at the feats later. All of them are a lot. I'm just really excited about them, right? I don't care kind of what they do with them as far as like balancing goes in them. I'm just excited to see them because I think they provide really, really fun flavor. Okay, for spells really quick, we have actually some spells inspired by the Deck of Many Things, which is an interesting thing because I don't see a tie-in to either Giants or Planescape, but it's interesting that they're doing it, right? Specifically, they're giving these two, Summon, Warrior Spirit, and Spirit of Death, which are basically two cards that you can pull from it. One of them summons a Warrior Spirit, right, that helps attack with you. It's really cool because you actually get to choose between a Barbarian Fighter or a Monk, and then you get certain abilities that are dependent on the thing that you chose. And then you also get a Reaper Spirit, right? The Reaper Spirit is Spirit of Undead. This one would be also really fun for a Ranger. Actually, let's see if it says who gets it. Does it say? Does it not say who gets it? Hold on. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Sorcerer, Warlock, or Wizard. Dumb. I want a Ranger with this because Hunting Tracker, you and the Reaper can cause a sense of direction or distance to the hunted creature, and if it's on the same plane of existence of you, which is so cool. If I'm getting like a deathly cross, if you've seen like Supernatural or anything like that kind of aesthetic, you know, like there's a messenger or crossroad ghost or demon that you can summon, which are like the the demon of the crossroads. And in my Ranger video I talked about this, where it's a perfect aesthetic for a Ranger, right? The guide to an afterlife or a crossroad guide or some like undead Ranger, like a messenger for the undead is so cool. So if I'm making a character like that, or if I have another character in my game that wants to play something like that, I'm like, hey, you need to check out this spell. You should probably get this spell because it's a really fun spell. So anyways, again, change things like that. We have House of Cards, which is a fun one. You get to like basically make a house of cards with 3 floors made out of cards. Each panel 10 feet wide, or 5 feet wide, 10 feet tall. Has 1 hit point that you can attack. And it's a 1 minute casting time. So I don't really know a lot of the benefit of this one, but it's fun, right? It's fun. You can make it and you can hide in it like a fun house. It'd be kind of fun. Maybe flavor it like a fun house too. It'd be kind of nice. Okay, we have Antagonize. You whisper magical words that antagonize one creature. It's kind of like a Vicious Mockery, but better. It's a 3rd level spell. And then we have... What do we have left? What do we have left? Is that it? Is that it? No, there was one I missed. Spray of cards, Antagonize. Where's Spray of Cards? Where's that? Where is it? There it is. You were hiding. Okay, Spray of Cards. You can spray spectral cards from your hands or your sleeve. The cards blind or slash your enemies. You get to choose one of the following effects. There are basically 15-foot cones. 1 is a Wisdom saving throw or be blinded. 1 is a Dex saving throw or take 2d10 force damage, which is also kind of nice. So there you go. There you go, guys. That is the gist of all of the Unearthed Arcana Wonders of the Multiverse. Some really fun things to look forward to. And I am excited. Here's the thing. I get super excited about these things, and then I remember that it's probably going to be like a year in advance, and we're not going to see it for like another year, and then I get depressed. But then I get excited because I know that like Spelljammer's right around the corner. We have the Journey to the Radiant Citadel, which I was actually nervous about with what they come out, because I'm not really a big fan of like Candlekeep Mysteries, of those like books that have multiple different adventures in them, but that are like kind of not really connected, but sorta. I was kind of nervous about this one as well, but I read it the other day while I was creating the video that's coming out tomorrow, and it's really nice. It's really fun. You get, I mean, again, it's the exploration of different cultures, which I think is a beautiful thing in D&D, because again, flavor, hello. A bunch of different culture flavor gets to be thrown in, and you get to experience that in some way through a D&D game. So you can have a Venezuelan-inspired Feywild, or of the Day of the Dead experience, or if you want to play Carnival, you can, which is so fun. So anyways, you guys should check that out tomorrow and possibly play it in your games. But I'm definitely putting in a Carnival in my game. You know it. You know it. So thanks, guys. I know that I wasn't really active on reading the chat. I had a lot to get through, so I apologize. But I hope that you guys enjoyed just a little exploration of what we have here and what we could possibly do in the future. Once these do come out officially, I'll probably do another video on like the ins and outs of what like of reflavoring them and what we can do with them as far as flavor goes. So more in depth that way. But until then, right? For me, it's packing, it's moving. I will have a number of videos that are actually planned out. So these next few weeks, I'll kind of go dark. I might not be able to do a live stream next week because we're kind of setting up the new space. I got a whole new space for video and stuff, which I'm excited for. But that means I'll probably be out for a week. And then for the next few weeks, it'll be pre-recorded stuff. I got a bunch of things kind of just pre-done so that I don't have to worry about it, and they'll just be kind of coming out. But some fun things that I'm excited for. So thank you guys all for being here. Hopefully that was fun for you guys. Thank you so much. Again, looking forward to some future content with you guys. And hey, in the meantime, go out there and spread the good word of D&D and make the world a better place, both on and off your tables.